in progress.
Okay, everybody, welcome to our homeopathy seminar. It is October 26, 2022, and it's just Wendy and I today. But we're going to have Monica Sanchez and her son Xavier joining us again in about 8 minutes, and to kind of do a follow-up on his seizure issues and do his third visit. So, but we'll kind of, and then after that, we're just going to go over I have some other new cases to go over with everybody. And about five of you are going to be buying this recording. So we'll be sending it out. But I asked Wendy if maybe she had any other questions, and also you can fill us in on how your practice is going and let us know how long you've been kind of taking clients, how many you're taking, how's it all going, getting started.
Sure. Well, I think I started officially back in April, May, right before you moved. And right now I really just have 2 full days to devote to clients. That's going to grow in the next few months. But at this point, I have 3 to 4 clients each day, every week. And that's just homeopathy. So I do other services too. So those are 6 to 8 a week. So for me right now, that is a good load, and I'm learning a lot, not only through these sessions with Katie, but also through the Caduceus Institute. I'm doing my first clinicals, and I'm really enjoying that, getting a lot out of that, learning how to repertorize a little faster and a little better. That's really helped me. I feel like I can be quicker at that when I see a client. So that was what I think I found a little more challenging, is sometimes trying to repertorize when they're there, and working the case sometimes and feeling like I was a little slow at it or not repertorizing as good as I wanted, but then falling back some on the muscle testing. But I do feel like I'm getting better at repertorizing and kind of in interviewing the clients too, kind of pulling that information that I want to repertorize. So I think that's helping. As far as a question, I do have a question about one of the clients I'm working with. She's 3 years old. She has had the diagnosis early, not too long ago, of the esophageal
the EOE.
The EOE. And she was born a twin and premature and was in the NICU for quite a while. She did have all her vaccines until her mom has stopped doing that. But anyway, early on she had a lot of symptoms of food allergies with formula, a lot of rash issues. She's redheaded. She had a major lip and tongue tie, a lot of reactions to eggs, dairy, peanuts, pretty much so many things. She would often choke and gag on food and vomit, and she would vomit when she was very emotional. So her mom reached out to me about the time the doctor wanted to start Maggie on steroids for this. And her mom had just researched it and was like, we don't want to do this. So her first round of homeopathy, her mom was really encouraged. We did an emotion code on the first time too. She had talked to someone, I think she was referred to someone you had worked with. So we did both. And she was getting some really good results the first 2 months, less choking. She's still very reliant on Zyrtec, because if she gets off that at all, she just really goes downhill fast with the sneezing and the stuffy nose. But she wasn't vomiting as much when she'd get emotional. However, I guess it's about 3 weeks ago, she got really sick. And her mom, kind of before I knew what was going on, it kind of just snowballed, and she ended up having pneumonia and was put back on steroids, and an antihistamine was added again. She was still choking less, but her mom was pretty discouraged you know, she was feeling conflicted about having put her on the steroids, felt like, you know, we took 3 steps forward, now, you know, 4 steps back. So with that situation, from what you've mentioned doing, I did meet with her, and her daughter was still having a hard time getting over the cough. So I did send her a couple of remedies to take 3 days in a row. I actually just talked to her today, and she's been a little better. Hasn't started back on the chronic remedies yet, but just again fell into a cactus at her mom's house.
Oh no.
And she got just inflammation all over her little behind from that. And then she woke up this morning with her face red, and now she has fever tonight. So her mom was just real, and the congestion, the allergies. So, you know, in that case, I guess my question is, she's putting off getting back to the chronic medications, but when you have a child who seems to just catch everything that comes around when you're trying to treat them for chronic things, how do you do that? You know, do you keep doing a few days for the acute things? How would you manage that?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm always usually trying to mix some of the acute with the chronic. So if she's having like still the sneezing, stuffy nose, coughing, I mean, of course, like kind of falling into a cactus, you know, you kind of have to wait. You know, I do some ledum because of a puncture wound and different things for like, you know, calendula, maybe if she's getting infected or anything. But once she's like almost over that hump, I would definitely deal with the, you know, kind of the sickness or allergies or things like, because I've seen a lot of people, what it is that keeps them getting sick all the time is this constant drainage, you know, so that would be like my top priority is your Serenum, your vaccine detoxes, you know, because they will just keep getting sick. And so I had a case that I will share a little bit more with you guys, but a little girl, we're dealing with seizures with her as well. But at the same time, she's always getting sick like that. So just constant runny nose and cough and drainage. So like, I want to deal with the seizures. That's like a top priority for everybody. But at the same time, I have to keep her well. So I have to really address the, you know, so we did like a really high dose of Serenum, and within a few days, she just dried up. And then it was like, then we could go at the seizures a lot more. So, yeah, I would kind of put that as your top priority. You know, the EOE, now Serenum can help with EOE issues as well, because it's dealing with the gut and other things too. So,
actually, that's one of the ones she was on the first time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I would test her for those again. And if it was like COVID, you can also look at some post-COVID, like strengthening remedies, but still deal with the chronic as well as, you know, the acute, because sometimes, I mean, they will kind of help each other, those remedies.
Yeah. Well, you know, the moms that and the other little kids I'm working with that have such chronic allergy issues, one of the moms wants to dose her. So, you know, between the chronic remedies she's getting, something will come up, and then she wants to dose her for that. And that's where sometimes I get a little confused about what to tell them, to try to ride things out, or do we add something in to the mix?
I mean, if they do get sick, like let's say you give her Serenum and then she's got a flu a couple days later. I would address the flu first, you know, give her a couple remedies for the flu, and then kind of get back to the Serenum. And a lot of people, they get frustrated because they do feel like, oh, it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I just always remind people like, hey, you could also be 3 steps back, but we're not, you know, we're still making gains here, even though it doesn't feel like it, because she had to go back on steroids and do other things. So, yeah. Hey, Monica, I see Monica joined us. Hello? I don't see her yet. Maybe it's just taking a minute to load. But yeah, those cases are really hard. And I've dealt with that quite a few times where people, are making some gains and then they get COVID or they get pneumonia or they have to have a surgery. And it's just, hey, Monica.
Hi.
How's it going?
Okay. I'm in a timeshare because of the hurricane, so the signal is terrible, so I'm not sure how much you can hear me, so I'll try to make it as quick as possible.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, you guys.
So the first two, yeah, my house completely flooded. It's been a nightmare.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
But yeah, so the first 2 weeks, lots of seizures with the first 2 weeks of remedies. And then the last 2 weeks, he did great, no seizures at all. I actually didn't see any tonic-clonics. And then the moon was yesterday and we're right back. He hasn't slept in, we're going on 48 hours now. Lots of tonic-clonics, still constipation is an issue.
Okay. All right. So, but we did have it, about 2 weeks, right? Where you said it was better.
Mhm.
Okay, that's good. So what we're looking for is kind of like a flickering of symptoms. So you'll see, okay, this, like last month we may have had a few good days, and then this month we're having, 14 good days, and the next month we have, each stretch of good days increases every month. So
Yeah,
so that's
the
a
2
good
weeks
sign.
are definitely much better than I've ever seen him. It's just unfortunately every time the moon comes, it's a disaster.
Yeah, exactly. And that's also just the body right now is kind of telling him, the symptoms are showing us that there's more work to do. So that's when the symptoms will come back. It's kind of like a woman who, you think the baby's going to get pushed out in labor and here comes another contraction again. And it's not quite done yet. So, yeah, but for me, that's a good thing because it's a good thing that we at least saw 2 weeks of good. That shows, that hopefully this next month, maybe it'll be 3 weeks, maybe it'll be the whole month. But usually it will increase this month as well. So that's good. All right, let me check with some of these other symptoms. How about, I know the erection before urination was doing better last time. How's that?
Oh yeah, that's back. I think that's what's causing the seizures. He has a lot of ammonia smell in his urine. I've been giving him nitric acid, the homeopathic one, and it helps a bit. But yeah, it's back with the erections and the smell of his urine. Obviously, ammonia is high, so it produces seizures for him. So if I had to guess, I would say that's what's really triggering it.
Okay. And is it, because I know it was painful before, right?
This time he's not crying. I could just see when he urinates that it's erect. Okay. But he's not crying any longer like he used to. But the smell of ammonia, you could smell it like a mile away.
Okay, so it's really, really smelling. Okay. All right. And during those 2 weeks, how was he sleeping? During the 2 good weeks?
Sleeping every night. It was great. There was no ammonia smell. He was sleeping every night. Like everything was awesome.
Okay. How's the constipation? You said is bad?
Yeah, it's really bad. I just did a suppository, but even with that, he's not going.
Okay. And during the 2 good weeks, was that improved as well, or did that stay bad?
Stay the same.
That stayed the same. Okay. How often do you have to use a suppository?
Every day.
Every day? And if you didn't use that, how often would he have a bowel movement, do you think?
Maybe 5 or 6 days, but I never let it go because it ferments and then he'll end up having seizures and more seizures. So I've never let it go more than 2 days max.
Okay. Okay. All right. Anything else? Anything, is any other symptoms that have come up or anything changed?
His neck, like he's always looking down and like he has always looking down or always looking to the side. It's like he has no midline. Like if I go for a walk, he's always looking down. Like he can't just look straight.
Okay. Okay. All right. So how would you say, like before we started, if you could say how many seizures he was having per month or per week, or if you could kind of give me a gauge of how many he was having?
I would say obviously depends on how many moons there are that month, but during the moon, an average of, I would say 10 to 12 during the moon. This is the first time he's only had 3, and the moon was yesterday. Obviously, once one happens, I already know the insomnia that just comes with it. But even this time with the moon, it still has been significantly better because usually once it starts, like it starts that cascade and there's like nothing stopping it. But this time it's only been 3 and the moon was yesterday. Usually by now we're like on 12 plus.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's good. Yeah, we should see as we keep going, the intensity of the seizures to be going, getting less, the frequency to be getting less, more good days overall. So these are all good signs. Definitely. All right. And how did he do? So you felt like after each dose, did he have a really rough time? For how long did that last usually? It was just the first and second dose that he had a rough time? Oh, I think. Are you still there?
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, now I can
Yeah,
hear
sorry,
you.
I think I lost you. What were you?
I was just wondering if how was like after each dose, was it rough for like a few days and then got better, or was it just rough the whole first 2 weeks?
Yeah, the first 2 weeks it was just horrific the whole time. Like from that Tuesday to Tuesday when I gave the next one, it was just nonstop. And then the third time I gave it, I was terrified, but it was a total opposite. It like stopped. And then the fourth one, same thing. It was just miraculous. Nothing happened. It was the best 2 weeks it's probably ever had in a long time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good. I know it is scary to give that third and fourth dose sometimes. if you've had a rough couple of weeks, you're like, and why am I doing this to myself?
Right.
I know, but then yeah, you just never know. The result could be totally opposite, where
Right.
yeah. So good for you to stick with it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me test him. Is he nearby?
Yeah. I
Okay.
have to be outside the sliding glass door because there's like no signal here. But he's right on the bed.
Okay, great. Okay, so I will test him here and see kind of what comes up. All right. Does Xavier need the remedy of Sakuda right now? No. Does Xavier need the remedy of MMR vaccine right now? No. Does Xavier need the remedy of lachesis right now? Yes, and LM1000? No. LM500? Yes, alum 500, lactasis. Does Xavier need the remedy of carcinosin and bowel right now? Yes. And alum 4000? Yes, alum 5000. Yes, alum 6000. No, alum 5000, carcinosin and bowel. Now, this is just for the other homeopaths here that will be watching this video. If you gave him an alum 1000 before, you can give it again multiple times. You don't have to be able to have a machine that goes as high as mine. Does Xavier need the remedy of brain right now? Yes, an alum 2000. Yes, alum 3000. Yes, alum 4000. Yes, alum 5000. Alum 6000. No, 6. So we're going 5 for brain. Carson, just brain, alum 5000. Does Xavier need the remedy of polybowel nosode right now? No. Okay, good. Does Xavier need the remedy of polyvaccines right now? Yes. And alum 1000? No. Alum 500? Yes. Polyvaccines, alum 500. Does Xavier need the remedy of alumina right now? No. Does Xavier need the remedy of carcinosin of brain right now? No. Does Xavier need the remedy of polymetals right now? No. Does Xavier need the remedy of aconite right now? No. Does Xavier need the remedy of bufo right now? No. Does Xavier need the remedy of uranium right now? No. Okay. Does Xavier need the remedy of cuprum right now? Yes, cuprum and alum 1000. No, alum 200. Yes, cuprum and alum 200. That's a really good seizure remedy. Does Xavier need the remedy of passiflora right now? Yes. And alum 1000. Yes, okay, passiflora, which is a great seizure remedy. Alum 1000. Okay. Let me look up this symptom with the erection and the ammonia smell.
Okay.
Because that's quite interesting. So do you feel like the erection comes before the urination, or is it at the same time?
Yes. Well, when I see him already, like when I pull his diaper down, it's already erect and he's peeing. I mean, he used to cry of pain. There's no more crying now, but now we're back to being erect.
Okay.
And then just that ammonia smell. And he's always had that issue, like high sulfur foods like broccoli or cauliflower, spinach. If I do any of that, it automatically triggers ammonia.
Hmm. Okay. Okay, so just so the homeopathy people in training here know that it's going to be urine, odor, ammoniacal. That's the
Mhm.
rubric we're looking for. And then male genitalia, sex erections during urination. Okay, and there's actually one remedy that fits both. Does Xavier need the remedy of Kanka right now? Yes, in Allen 1000. Oh, Chloe. Sorry, I'm talking to my daughter. Okay. Okay, good. 1 second. Let me just mute myself so I can tell him to shut the door. Okay. Does Xavier need any other remedies right now? No. Okay. Good. So we've got a couple new ones in there. You know, a really good vaccine detox and just other ones for the urination, for the gut, for the brain, just for, yeah, just for everything. We're really trying to cover all the different symptoms. But yeah, I'm excited. I think we're just going to keep going. Do you have him that we can do a motion code with him right now? Will
I
he-
can't because then I don't have, I couldn't even tell you where there's a magnet, and then I'd have to go in and out and I'll lose you because there's no signal here.
Don't worry about it.
So
We
we'd have
can-
to skip it this month.
That's fine. We can skip it. We can do it another time. When you're in a better place, which is actually like your home, maybe. I mean, I'm so sorry everything got flooded for you. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
That's just gotta have been like, and then doing all this too at the same time. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You've had a rough
Yeah.
past few weeks, I'm sure.
Yeah. I just can't wait to be home again.
I'm sure. Do you know when you can get back home?
They said maybe November. It's 2 weeks in November.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So do you,
I
I'll
know.
text you then. You probably want these sent to a different place, right? Different address and everything.
I think I originally gave you my mother-in-law's address. I think it's an Oviedo address, but yeah, I'll text you the address just to confirm.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. And then I'll
Okay.
text you for the next follow-up and everything too.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Sounds good, Monica. Hang in there, hon.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care. All right. Well, yeah, so that's great news. I mean, honestly, like it's frustrating for people to see the symptoms returning. But for me to have 2 good weeks, you know, and then to go from like 10 to 12 seizures if it's a moon, and then all of a sudden now 3. So
Was there ever a rubric about seizures with the moon? Was there?
I didn't see that.
I tried to look one up here and I didn't see one either.
Yeah, I think I tried it, but I didn't see anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you first tested him on what he was on. Those were the first ones you were testing through, right? What he took the last time.
Yeah, so I went through everything he took the last time. And as you could see, some of them didn't come up. So that's a good thing. Some of them still did. We're able to go higher. Now, if you can't go higher, just stay at the top of what you can do. And then I went back to the very beginning and also tested some of those from the first appointment. And then I kind of tested a few other ones that I knew. If you look up in the Banerjees, they say, you know, epilepsy is lachesis, cuprum, cicuta, passiflora. Those are the main 4 remedies that they use for seizures and epilepsy. So I looked at those and I looked at all like the MMR vaccine, polymetals, polyvaccines, aluminum. So he only wanted one of those. And then just always keep the gut in there. And then the last one, the Kanka one, which is spelled C-A-I-N-C-A. That was just for those 2 symptoms of the urination. So I
Yeah,
thought,
I
well,
saw that. And then, but then I saw when I repertorized it, I saw, at first I chose, there was an option in children and it only had 3 remedies, but you used the one above that because there were more remedies.
yeah, there were more.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, sometimes the ones in children, I don't find that helpful. Like I look at both of them, and the one that has more remedies in it, I'll choose that one.
Have you used that remedy before?
No, I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've never seen this issue with like an erection during urination and this ammonia smell.
Mhm.
But I thought, well, it must be connected to something. They're just 2 very unique symptoms.
Okay.
And so we just threw that in there, and hopefully that will help. I really want to get him off of the suppositories, because that's just like, ooh, every day having a suppository. But I think she's so scared of I just want to get him calmed down with the seizures first.
Okay.
So that's why I wanted to push it, but since she's having such a hard time right now, I'm like, she doesn't need one more thing on her plate to try to have him now telling her that he's having a stomach ache from being constipated.
Yeah.
So you have to just kind of gauge where the client is and how much they can handle at
Okay.
that moment. And so I'm like, okay, let's get the seizures like way better. Let's give her to have at least 3 good weeks or something, so that she'll be able to say, okay, now I can try to back off the suppositories. And
Okay.
sometimes I'll tell people to replace that just so they don't feel like they're going cold turkey. I'll say, why don't we try, some magnesium or some prunes or smoothies or something to make you feel like you have something in your arsenal, to work with.
Yeah.
But just definitely not. And sometimes like let them just do it. Maybe let them go 2-3 days, without giving them anything, and see how that goes. And a lot of times when we're doing these kind of gut remedies every time, sometimes they'll go on their own after like 2 or 3 days, or they'll start going on their own. So that's what we want to see. But yeah, and then some of these looking down, can't look straight. I didn't really address that symptom because to me it's connected with having all the seizures, and his muscles are probably just so messed up that we have to get him to stop having the seizures and then address that.
Okay.
And yes, that's pretty much, but.
So you mentioned for those of us who can only go up to LM 1000 to do it multiple times, do you mean just with every bag of dosing, or like multiple times over a week? I mean.
No, yeah, I would just like, if I didn't have the high potencies I had, I would have done carcinosin and bowel and LM 1000.
Okay.
If that's all I had available, I would just stay there.
Just keep going with that. Okay.
And let's say next month he needs it again and he wants it in LM 1000, that's what I would give it to him, because that's all I would have. Because I've seen people stay at like your highest potency for, they can stay there for like 4 or 5 months and it's still doing something. So it's not necessarily.
Do they ever test to go down and then back up very often?
Usually I see people just go down, but I have seen them sometimes go back up. But most of the time, if there's a good enough time in between, you'll start to see them going down and then progressively kind of going down. So, but yeah, sometimes if they're maybe too close together, the doses, or you're testing them, maybe like they just took that dose 4 days ago, they kind of had a late start at getting those doses going. Then I might see it go down and then go back up again, because it's like, it's still kind of in their system. And so they didn't need like that much more. They're like, yeah, I have a little bit more of that. But, then the next month it's like they'll go to the top again. Okay.
So how are you going to organize these that you did this week?
Let's see. Well, I definitely want to do the vaccine detox first. And so I'll probably do poly vaccines, the Kenka one. I'll try that one because I don't think that's going to be as intense And then I might try to put actually 4 remedies per bag to just see if we can kind of push it along a little bit faster. So I might do polyvaccines, canker, carcinosin bowel, and then another seizure one. So like cuprum. Or maybe lachesis because he's already had that one. So those 4 I'd put in the first bag, and then the other 3 I would put in the next bag. I might actually do polyvaccines in every dose.
Okay.
Just because I want to just continue. I think that's probably one of the more important ones.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would do the other 3 and then the vaccine added into it, and then just switch them every other week.
Okay.
So yeah, because the cuprum and the passiflora are new. So I don't really want to put those together because I don't know quite how they're gonna, sometimes when it's a new remedy that they haven't had yet, I wouldn't put those 2 together and maybe separate those
Okay.
as well. But yeah, the canker, I'm not too worried about that one doing anything crazy.
So would you, what did he test on? What was the dose potency he tested on of that?
The canker LM1000.
Okay, will you just keep the same potency in that 3rd bag of that? Or would you
Yeah.
go-
Yeah, I think when we're going this high, I mean, I know I've taught you guys before to kind of go up in potency, but that's more like if you're just doing 3 remedies. But
Okay.
since he has so many things going on,
Mm-hmm.
I like to hit things 2 times in the same potency. Plus, sometimes people, if they lose a bag or they get antidoted, it's always nice to have like a backup.
Okay.
You know, yeah, that maybe you lost that bag or you got to just take the next one and you'll be fine. Sometimes if you have them moving up, and they missed a dose or they got antidoted on something, they totally miss that remedy altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when we're doing so many different remedies. But I feel like this system works pretty well right now. A lot of people test for like a lot, 6 remedies. Now, I have some clients that they don't test for that many anymore. So they get down, it's maybe 3 or 4 remedies that they need only per month. And then I will sometimes move up in potency if they're not already at the highest one.
Okay.
Now, a lot of times people that I've worked with for a long time, everything they want is high. Even if they've never had that remedy before, they test for it as high as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, but I have to admit I was a bit nervous taking these seizure cases because I have another one I did at the same time that they're friends with.
Oh.
So this little girl, I was going to share with you guys her case today. I was just nervous because I don't have as much experience with seizures. I have maybe a couple of cases, but especially kids and people I don't know that well. But I was just so thankful to hear that he was doing better for a good amount of time. And this little girl was doing so much better. So that made me feel like, okay, we can do this. The remedies can help them. Just keep going. All right, so I'll share with you this little girl's case. She's 5 years old, and I want to kind of give you the symptoms like we always do.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys can kind of look it up and see how you would repertorize or what remedies you would pull in. So let me just tell you her symptoms. All right, so 5 years old. I can't remember if I might have shared a little bit about her case before. I don't remember, but she has severe epilepsy, a Dravet syndrome, it's called DRAVET. And it was from a vaccine. So she was having 12 to 15 seizures per month. Had severe teeth grinding and very low immune system, gets sick very easily. Okay, so the first visit, I'll just tell you about that one and then I'll kind of quiz you on the second one. The first visit we did lachesis 30C, Illumina LM200, or no, sorry, lachesis LM1, it wasn't a 30C, because I knew she was very sensitive, the dad said, so I made sure everything was an LM. And brain LM2000, So I just did those 3 because the dad just kept, and he was very nervous about doing everything.
Mhm.
So I just did like 3, and I just want to see how it goes. And he just said she's sensitive to everything, you know, he gives her, even herbs and all that stuff. And so yeah, she actually did see some improvement, but about halfway through the month, he messaged me and said she just kept getting sick, kind of like similar to what you were saying earlier, right? But he didn't think she had allergies. But her nose is just running all the time. He's like, yeah, she gets a sinus infection and then she'll get better, but then she'll go like another 2 weeks with a runny nose. And I was like thinking that sounds like allergies to me. And so I did test her, and she tested for Serenum and LM1000. So actually like halfway through the month, he's just like, can I just have another appointment? And I just really want to see if we can work on something for her immune system. And so I was like, okay, so we met. I think I did a motion code with her because she hadn't done that at the first visit. And then I sent him Serenum and LM1000. And I don't hardly ever do that, but this is just a unique case.
Mhm.
And I gave him a few doses of it, and he said it got way worse, you know, like it always does, for like a day or 2. And then her nose just dried up. And he said that, you know, for the past 3 weeks, she just hasn't had any sickness at all. And she's been doing really good with all that. But then I saw her just this morning. And so he said her nose has been doing better. And she had, instead of the 12 to 15 seizures per month, she only had 4 to 5 this past month. This is really just after 1 month. Her teeth grinding seems better, but now she's feeling nausea in the mornings, has a low appetite, and tendency to throw up randomly. Now, he said this was an old symptom that she had a few years ago. She did the same thing, but it had kind of gone away, and now it's coming back. She was very lethargic. And after the remedy, she was just really restless, just wouldn't stop moving. He sent me a video of her just like pacing around, walking around, just irritable and upset, and nothing would soothe her, and it would drive everybody crazy. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to kind of think about, you know, how you would kind of look up.
Did she have a bad appetite before, or was this kind of a new thing?
It was kind of a new thing, but it had come, you know, she had it years ago.
Okay.
And just let me know when you're ready.
Okay. Was the lethargicness a certain time of the day, or?
No, just pretty much all the time.
Okay.
But she did feel more nauseous in the morning.
Okay.
And she is still teeth grinding.
And is that any certain time of the day either?
Nope, it's just kind of random.
Okay. And then he said that she was more restless or irritable, was it?
Yeah, restless and irritable after a remedy. She
Okay.
just would pace around and.
So, okay, I repertorized teeth grinding,
Mhm.
stomach nausea morning, which is kind of a long list. I mean, it's kind of, but
Yeah.
and
I
then
think that's a good one. I did that one too.
okay. And then I did stomach appetite diminished, and that was a long one as well. But
Mhm.
I didn't know how to get that down any smaller in terms of
Yeah,
specific.
I think that one was too big for me. I didn't add that one in there.
Okay, so you just didn't do the appetite.
Yeah, because I think that one was anything over like 120, I wouldn't use.
Okay. So then let me take that one out, appetite diminished. And I chose mind restlessness, but that doesn't seem like what it was. Her body was more restless, right?
Yeah, and the hard thing is she was only that way with it right after the remedy.
Would you even repertorize
So
that?
yeah, I didn't even repertorize that one because I want to see. I never really repertorized something like right after the remedy.
Mhm.
I just want to see like where is she during the last few days before an appointment. That's kind of what I look at. A lot of people tell me all these symptoms they went through the month. And really what I'm listening for is how are you doing now?
Okay. And then I'm going to add seizures into that.
Mhm, good.
Generals, convulsions, epileptic.
Mhm.
Let's see. Would you repertorize anything for the sensitiveness or the immune system?
I think, hold on. No, because I just think the more we strengthen her and detox, she's going to get stronger. I just know like I had to address the allergies again. I had to test her on the Serenum again. So I gave her the Serenum LM1000. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe she needs, so that's going to be kind of addressing that.
Okay. So then I did teeth grinding, stomach nausea morning, stomach vomiting easy. Would that be?
Yeah, I
easy
didn't
to
do
throw
that
up?
one,
No? Okay.
but you could. Let me look at that one. Oh gosh, where's the epilepsy one? What is it again?
It was generals, convulsions, epileptic.
That's right, generals. I was like looking for mind generals. Okay, there it is. All right.
So I guess with just those three, the teeth grinding, the nausea in the morning, and the epileptic seizures, it looks like calc carb comes up highest.
I think there was maybe.
Is there another one?
Oh, I forgot. Stomach nausea morning, convulsions, epileptic, teeth grinding. Oh, I know what else I looked up. I was like, there was something else. There is actual, and I just started putting this one in there after vaccine. So if you look at injury, like vaccine, because it was like clearly that's what it was.
Okay.
Something after vaccination.
Oh, ailments after vaccination.
Yes, ailments after vaccination.
Okay. I see that. And then it kind of gives it, would you do it in children or just do?
I think I just did it regular without the in children part.
That makes sense.
Because I was like, that was just those three remedies. I mean, those three rubrics were a lot. So this one, adding this one in there kind of cuts it down.
Okay.
To a more reasonable place. All right, and then I went through and kind of tested those.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also tested all those 4 epilepsy remedies from Banerjee's.
Mm-hmm.
Tested the Serenum. And what came up was Serenum LM 700. So you can see we're kind of coming down. Now that could be because she just recently had a dose as well.
Okay.
So, but anyway, that's good to have that in there. Lachesis came up, which is your epilepsy one that we had last time, but she took a big jump. She had an LM1 and now she's LM1000. So that's good. When I see somebody go that high already after 1 month, for me, that's exciting. I'm like, oh, okay, great. We can get her well really fast. And the fact that she went from like having, you know, that many 12 to 15 seizures per month to like 4. That's already a big jump. Now she doesn't, now the thing that's different between Xavier and this girl is she doesn't have gut issues, really. Doesn't have constipation, none of that, doesn't have some of these other urinary issues and muscle issues. And so she seems a little less complicated, her case is, you know, it's the seizures and it's allergies. Those 2 things. Her family just seems really healthy, you know, nobody else in the family has any other problems or anything. So I think that's why she's getting better a little bit faster. But then we did brain came up in LM 6000, aluminum came up, LM 1000, cuprum, 200C, and then 2 of the remedies that were from this list, which we repertorized. What did it came up?
I see. Yeah, cuprum and serenum weren't too far down.
Right, so they're on there too. Veratrum came up. I don't remember how I found that one. Or maybe I did look up in children. Veratrum came up at 1M. And then Cali carbonicum in a 1M. Oh, I think I was also looking at other ways for her to strengthen her system. And Cali carb is very like weak system. Veratrum. Why did I pick Veratrum? I'm looking at my list again. Oh, Veratrum does cover 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, and 3. Yeah. So did you test on all of these all the way down to Veratrum?
No, I don't remember Veratrum being that far down.
Okay.
Maybe I did do, let me check the ailments after vaccination in children. Maybe I did put that in there. In children. No, because that's carcinosum.
Okay.
Now, if you look in that, the rubrics, when you're looking at ailments after vaccinations in children, there's other ones that say neurological complaints. And then there's another one that says never well since.
Yeah.
I didn't see those. Those would also be interesting. And then another one, look at general's neurological complaints after vaccination.
Okay.
So, you know, those would be worth a look at as well. And then there's also like, it says general's vaccinations, ailments after DTP, after meningitis shot, after, you know, smallpox, after tetanus shot, after tuberculosis shot. So like there's other ones that are in here that are just specific vaccines, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, I hadn't noticed that before.
Yeah, and we never did a lot of like ailments after vaccination with Willa. So I wasn't as familiar with it till I just started kind of looking around. So I'll probably test on a few different ones maybe next month, you know, to see how she's doing. Not that these can't bring about the same results, you know. Right. But it's worth a shot to just bring in different ones sometimes and see what kind of angle they can hit them at. But yeah, so that's what we're going to put in. I know Veratrum is also very weak in the body. So I knew Cali carb and Veratrum were also very good for the weakness. Okay. I don't know why when I repertorize it now, it seems like they're really far down there. I remember them being really close to the top, but maybe I did something differently. But yeah, I mean, it just shows you it doesn't, like, if you get it, you know, if you didn't look it up the exact right way, it's not really going to be like oh, you messed up the case, you know, I
Right,
mean,
right.
there's so many different remedies that can bring about similar results. Okay, so those are the 2 seizure cases. I have another one that's kind of a brand new case for me this month. Is a man, he's about 55 years old. And he came in for allergies. His girlfriend suggested him to come, and I was a bit nervous because, you know, I don't know who he is. I barely know his girlfriend. She's like in our neighborhood. And it's in my house, and I knew like my husband would be here, but I was a little bit nervous, like, I don't know this guy. And is he going to be, especially guys can be super skeptical at times. And I was like, oh, I'm going to have to like convince him and all this stuff. But he came in and he was totally like, yeah, I've used homeopathy before, and I, you know, don't vaccinate, and I don't take any medicine, and I'm really like natural minded, and I'm open for, he knows about muscle testing and all that. So I was like, oh, this is great. So anyway, he is bloated a lot also, and sugar makes it worse. And any kind of preservatives, like at restaurants, also make him really bloated. So he can't go to a lot of restaurants because they'll have different preservatives in their food. And he will also urinate constantly after a sugary drink. Which he said runs in the family. His dad and his grandpa also do the same thing. They drink any drink, whether it be juice, soda, whatever, they will just pee like every 10 minutes.
But it's not like that with just like water. It's just
Nope.
something with sugar in it.
Yep.
Okay.
He also runs really hot, like temperature wise. You could see when he came in, his face was really red.
Okay.
And he had a very like taciturn look to him where he didn't have a lot of expression. He just kind of talked like very monotone and just barely kind of like looked around. And I wouldn't say shy, but yeah, just I wrote taciturn in my notes because he just didn't have a lot of expression on his face. Now, he had vaccines as a child, and he had antibiotics in high school for severe acne. For 4 years, he was on antibiotics every day.
Okay.
And he also went on Accutane and had a very bad reaction to that. And that's his whole case. So go ahead and we can take a few minutes and kind of look up some rubrics or see how you would go at, you know, kind of go at this case.
So the first two I'm looking, I went in ahead and put in generals, food and drinks, sugar aggravates, just because he has that with the bloating and then the urination.
Yeah.
I was looking for bloated sugar aggravates and I couldn't find, I found abdomen distension, but it didn't give me an option for, specifically sugar.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't find that one either.
But did you use that one and use something else?
I could not find that one. I
Okay.
looked at like urination, you
Yeah.
know, sugar, urinate. I just sometimes look up urine without the E.
Mhm.
And then I put sweet, no, nothing. And then I put sugar, no, nothing. So
Yeah.
I could not find, it's such a unique symptom that I'm like, oh, this will be easy to find. And I could not find it.
I haven't looked for preservatives yet, but I was about to go there. Yeah, preservatives didn't come up. Additives, was there, let's see, generals maybe.
Yeah, I did. Now for that symptom, I just feel like probably because of the antibiotics and the vaccines, his gut is just a mess,
Okay.
you know?
Yeah. So don't
So-
really get specific about that.
Yeah, I didn't look that one up. But I did feel like the heat, you know, the fact that he's just hot all the time was important. And right away when he said that, I thought sulfur, because sulfur is very hot. He also kind of had like I don't know, like a haughtiness about him a little bit, like kind of like he knew a lot,
Well, prideful.
know it all a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And that can also be sulfur.
Yeah.
So very quickly, I was actually thinking sulfur, and I was also thinking argentum nitricum because it's very sugar sensitive. But emotionally, he didn't fit argentum nitricum, you know, like, because they're usually very anxious, and he was not. He was just very sure of himself, and this is how it is, and didn't
Like
seem
a podium, would like a podium fit his personality at all?
It kind of would. Yep. I did test that. That was the second one I tested. So I put on my list to test argentum nitricum, lycopodium, nux vomica, pulsatilla. I don't know why pulsatilla, I think, came up in the search. Sulfur, serinum, cinchona, because I knew that's like slow digestion, carbovegetablus, thuja, antimonium crudum, because he had such bad acne, and it's also digestive. So those are the ones I tested him on, but he also was he's big in technology, like he works as IT. So I knew I had to like test him on. Now, if you have anybody that works in IT, always make sure to test him. Like almost every remedy that first month should be radiation detox in some form.
Okay.
So I did put 2 of those in there. He ended up testing for uranium and mobile phone in a 30C. Then he tested for serinum in a 10M. So that's a pretty good start. Then we did antibiotics. I knew that would be a thing. He's been on them for 4 years. Bowel nosode and sulfur. So sulfur was the only one of the constitutional ones other than like serinum that came up. I thought for sure, oh, Nux vomica maybe, or yeah, lycopodium or something, but it was sulfur was a really strong one for him. And I know sulfur is good for allergies too. So I'm hoping that all those things mixed together might bring about a really good, bit of progress for him.
Good.
So yeah, that's what he tested for. I did test him for Accutane too, but that didn't come up yet. That will probably come up later. But Accutane, I will see a lot of people with like depression or anxiety. They need that, so, and he might need that eventually, but right now he wasn't showing any emotional symptoms at all.
So you mean the Accutane, oftentimes you see people depressed as a side effect of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It like makes, I've seen probably about 5 or 6 Accutane people. They all seem to have that. The ones that need that remedy seem to show that.
That's interesting because I took Accutane in my late teens, early 20s, and I struggled with depression after that too.
Yeah. And I've heard that is a side effect, that people like thought about suicidal thoughts or something like that after it. So it does something to you like hormonally. I mean, I don't even really know what Accutane is. I mean, it's supposed to be, helping you with acne somehow. Do you know what exactly it's doing to the body?
I know it dries the body out. And I know there's been a lot of like litigation about, I remember seeing on the television, if you took Accutane and you have irritable bowel, bowel problems, that's something that I had years later too, actually. So it makes me wonder if it's just really damaging the gut, and that gut-brain connection is maybe where the depression's coming in. The serotonin receptor sites in the gut maybe somehow affecting those. But I know it just really dries the body out, really. But you have to also, if you're a female and you take Accutane, you have to take the birth control pill sometimes. So then there's the hormonal, I don't know which causes more of the hormonal problems there, but
definitely. So that's, I really hope we see some good progress with him this next month. We can revisit his case.
Would you think that he would have any acne come back at his age, or no?
Possibly, yeah. Yep, it could be, because he had it so bad. I wouldn't be surprised. Just hoping he sticks with it, but he seems pretty open. He seemed pretty convinced, like, okay, I'm going to try this. And but interesting how he said he was going to get a PhD in homeopathy. And I was like, oh, really? But he thought homeopathy was naturopathic.
Yeah, people confuse that a lot, don't they?
They confuse us so much, especially up here. They've never heard of it. So they're like,
oh,
what are these? You give them like remedies and stuff. Like, these are homeopathic remedies. But all right, we have one more case to go through.
I'm going to turn some light on this.
Yeah, it's getting dark.
Oh, that's too light. Let me turn the other one on.
All right, so this one is a 19-year-old boy who came in. Now he has really bad stomach issues. Food allergies, especially to gluten. Borderline celiac, they said. They've done stool testing. He has H. pylori and strep in his gut. He's had allergies and asthma in the past. He has a constant burning for the past 3 years in his stomach.
Is it better or worse, like right after eating or when it's an empty stomach? It's just,
It is 10 minutes after eating. And he also has diarrhea 10 minutes after eating, especially if it has gluten in it. Okay, it all started after the isolation of COVID.
mm,
He was really lonely and really anxious and depressed. You could just tell he's a people person. He came in and for like 19 years old, it's really like, hi, how are you? Oh, what a nice house. Just really like talkative and social.
mhm.
He feels like he can't sit still. Very kind of fidgety. I could tell even in the office, he was just kind of moving a bit, you know. And he also gets some anticipatory anxiety in his gut. Like if he has to go perform or speak in front of people, he would get diarrhea right before.
Okay.
And he is a people pleaser and an overthinker. And he had vaccines as a child. And he had a lot of antibiotics because he had ear infections all the time. And a lot of steroids. Okay, so I'll give you a few minutes to kind of analyze this case or think of what we would do.
Is he having the asthma symptoms now, or does he take something for that
Nope, he doesn't take anything. It was just in the past he had
in
it.
the past? Okay. All right, so the first few things I put in was the mind anxiety from anticipation.
Mhm. That's
I
good.
did rectum diarrhea eating after aggravates.
Mhm.
I did generals food and drinks wheat aggravates. And then
Okay.
general stomach pain burning. It's a long rubric though, and I didn't really see anything better necessarily, unless he was kind of showing you whereabouts it was burning.
Yeah, that was a hard one. I think I had even when I hear this constant burning, I also think of a hiatal hernia.
Mm-hmm.
So I did talk to him about that. So I had him maybe look up some YouTube videos, and because I'm thinking stressful situations can bring that about. So we had him kind of look at that too. But he just seemed such like a pulsatilla to me. I mean, just, and the more I talked to him, and I even had him like look at the book, the homeopathic guide, you know, the complete guide by Miranda Castro. And I said, hey, look at this. And I don't do this with everybody, but they just seem so interested to learn about it. I said, look at this description here and see what you think about it. And him and his mom were like, oh my gosh, that's me. Like, that's so me. And I know that pulsatilla people are really sensitive to, you know, not being around other people and like digestive issues. And I just remember other cases that Willa had done in the past where it was like this one guy who it just seemed a lot like him.
Yeah.
And that was his remedy, was pulsatilla solved it. So that's like the first thing I thought of. But when I looked up my rubrics, it was kind of like I did mind anxiety from anticipation. So similar, same one you had. I did rectum diarrhea after anticipation. So I thought that was pretty unique.
Oh, okay.
And then I did rectum diarrhea bread aggravated, because it was mostly when he had the gluten.
Okay.
And then in that one, I think there was only 2 remedies for that: antimonium crudum and pulsatilla. And then mind yielding disposition, because he's very people pleasing.
Okay.
So I did those 4, and actually lycopodium came up, and phosphoricum acidum came up the highest. But I know I tested him on lycopodium and phosphoricum acidum. He didn't really need those. And so then I jumped to the ones I knew, you know, I was like, well, let's see what pulsatilla, and he did test for it in a 200C. And then I thought about argentum nitricum, because it's very anticipatory anxiety and gut issues and, you know, those kind of sensitivities. And so he did test for that one in a higher potency of 1M. Now that one makes me think that pulsatilla is probably more of his strongest constitutional one, because he started really low. Whenever you have a remedy that people start really low, it's probably the one they need the most.
Okay.
And then I tested for H. pylori, that came up.
Yeah, I saw that one. And I actually found that rubric too.
Nice. They have an H. pylori rubric?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. I just always use the remedy.
It was stomach inflammation, Helicobacter pylori infection.
Wow.
And there's only one remedy there that's listed.
Oh, what's the remedy?
Helicobacter pylori is what it says.
Oh, Helicobacter pylori.
Yeah, Helicobacter pylori. It's the only remedy there.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah, Helicobacter pylori. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much the remedy. That's the same thing. And I think the H. pylori remedy.
Yeah.
And then the antibiotic, he tested for that at LM1. So everything was really low that he tested for, pretty much, other than argentum nitricum. And I think he was on his phone a lot, he says. So I did give him like a uranium nitricum too. And then the mom said the next day he had a really bad headache that he couldn't get rid of. But then the problem is, then his girlfriend, who he's been dating for a year, broke up with him.
Oh.
Which is like the worst thing for a pulsatilla to have. They already feel this deep sense of rejection, and then all of a sudden to reject him, it just destroyed him. And so like he wasn't seeing anything but just distraught. And so then we had to kind of change course, and it was like, okay, the mom said, is there anything else he can take? He's so depressed and won't come out of his room and just crying all day and all night. And so I just, had him take I said, go to the store and get nature myrrh, ignatia, aconite. And I think Steph's agree, I might have recommended 4, and just said, take 1 of each, every other day for the next 2 weeks. And I still said he could do, I didn't want him doing the remedies. And I said, when he starts to feel a little bit better. And then I got him in with somebody to do a motion code. So I didn't have time for it. So the mom did say after like a week, the first week, he was feeling a little bit better. So then we could kind of continue on with the remedies. And I don't know how, I assume he's doing pretty good now, but yeah, you have things that, like monkey wrenches can get thrown in there. You just have to kind of adjust and see what they're needing at that moment, But yeah, good job repertorizing. You're really getting the hang of it.
Thanks. It's fun.
Yeah, it is kind of fun. It's like you're playing detective, right?
Puzzle. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, oh, what does this person need? How can I look it up? And how can I figure out?
Because someone will say something about a symptom like, ooh, I need to go repertorize that.
I know.
Those things. It's like, oh, I wonder if I can find that.
Yes, the SRPs, the strange, rare, peculiar.
Yes.
That's why there was that, what was that? The one that he had the urination after drinking a sugary drink. I was all excited to look that up. That was the first one I went to, and I was like, I can't find it. Dang it.
No, it's not there.
Not there. Shoot. Yeah. So, all right. So we'll end for the night. And so we'll do next month. Let me think. Because that's the week of Thanksgiving. We probably won't do that one. So it'll probably be Wednesday, November 30th.
Okay.
Just because I want to make sure we get Xavier in a good amount of time. And hopefully, I really would like to, I think I might end with him with the end of his case. Like once we're done with him, we'll just see how it goes, see kind of how the response is, but yeah. Okay. All right. And I will stop the recording. So thank you for all that. I'll talk with you in a minute, Wendy. Okay. Oops. Maybe I didn't stop the recording.
I don't see your face anymore, but I hear you.
Okay, sorry, didn't stop the recording.